Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Ukrainian border guards significantly reinforce borders with Belarus, Russia and Transnistria. The Ukrainian border guards have significantly reinforced the borders of Ukraine with the Russian Federation, Belarus, as well as the border with Transnistria, region in Moldova, which is occupied by Russia, ed. Source: Andriy Demchenko, spokesperson for the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine, quoted by Interfax Ukraine. Quote, both the border with the aggressor country and the border with Belarus, as well as the border with Moldova in the Transnistria region, have been significantly reinforced. In general, Ukraine, border guards and the defense forces pay the most attention generally to these areas, to prevent the escalation, and in case of it, to give an adequate response. Details. Demchenko said that the border guards and other units of the defense forces have already increased the engineering equipment, the arrangement of positions, and placing mines on the territory. He added that the units deployed on this front have worked out all the actions for coherence in case of an invasion attempt. US sees acute threat from Russia, but says China's main challenge. Russia's invasion of Ukraine highlights the acute threat posed by Moscow, but China as the most consequential challenge for the United States, the Pentagon said Thursday. The dangers are both conventional, Moscow's aggression toward its neighbors and Beijing's efforts to gain control of Taiwan, and nuclear, with Russia possessing an extensive arsenal and China's stocks of atomic weapons growing fast. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin highlighted the different challenges posed by China and Russia as he unveiled the unclassified versions of several military strategy documents. China is the only competitor out there with both the intent to reshape the international order, and increasingly the power to do so, Austin said. Unlike China, Russia can't systemically challenge the United States over the long term. But Russian aggression does pose an immediate and sharp threat. The National Defense Strategy, which was released Thursday, likewise places the primary emphasis on China. Beijing is seeking to refashion the Indo-Pacific region and the international system to suit its interests and authoritarian preferences, it says, describing this dynamic as the most comprehensive and serious challenge to U.S. national security. The strategy says Chinese rhetoric about and coercive activity toward self-ruled Taiwan, which Beijing has vowed to take control of, by force if necessary, is a destabilizing factor that risks miscalculation and threatens peace in the area. As for Russia, it says the acute threat posed by Moscow has been most recently demonstrated by Moscow's February invasion of Ukraine. Emerging threat of climate change, the Department of Defense will support robust deterrence of Russian aggression against vital U.S. national interests, including our treaty allies, the strategy says. In a departure from the previous National Defense Strategy, which was issued during Donald Trump's presidency, the newly released document classifies climate change as an emerging threat. The U.S. will integrate climate change into threat assessments, as well as increasing the resiliency of military installations, and taking climate extremes into account in decisions on training and equipping the armed forces, the strategy says. In an updated report on U.S. nuclear posture released in parallel with the National Defense Strategy, the Pentagon defines the role of its nuclear arsenal as deterring both nuclear and non-nuclear attacks that have strategic consequences. This includes nuclear employment of any scale, and it includes high-consequence attacks of a strategic nature that use non-nuclear means, a senior defense official told journalists. The Nuclear Posture Review emphasizes that China's nuclear arsenal is growing, but says Russia's is currently more extensive. Warning to North Korea, by the 2030s the United States will, for the first time in its history, face two major nuclear powers as strategic competitors and potential adversaries, the document says. It emphasizes the importance of modernizing U.S. strategic assets, while scrapping a submarine-launched nuclear cruise missile program and saying a type of obsolete nuclear bomb will be retired. The document also contains a stark warning for Kim Jong-un against employing North Korea's growing nuclear arsenal. Any nuclear attack by North Korea against the United States or its allies and partners is unacceptable and will result in the end of that regime. There is no scenario in which the Kim regime could employ nuclear weapons and survive, it says. The Missile Defense Review, also released Thursday, likewise points to growing threats from China and Russia. Beijing is closing the gap with Washington when it comes to ballistic and hypersonic missile technology, while Moscow is modernizing its intercontinental range missile systems and developing advanced precision strike missiles. The document says drones, which Russia has used to strike against Ukrainian cities and energy infrastructure, are also a threat that is likely to grow. Russian President Vladimir Putin meanwhile offered a distinctly different take on the international strategic environment Thursday, saying Moscow is trying to defend its right to exist in the face of Western efforts to destroy his country. Ahead is probably the most dangerous, unpredictable and at the same time important decade since the end of the Second World War, he said. Ukrainian refugee reported mother who took her into the police for making her do the dishes, before detectives opened a modern slavery investigation and grilled her for hours. An NHS mental health specialist who took in a Ukrainian refugee was reported for modern-day slavery after she asked her guest to help out more with the dishes, as she warns would-be hosts to think twice before offering up their homes. Hannah de Benham, 42, of Uckfield, Sussex, was under investigation for 2 months following the accusation, before the case was dropped this week when no supporting evidence was found. The mother of 2 was asked to voluntarily attend Eastbourne police station where she was questioned by a modern-day slavery inspector, which she branded the worst day of my life. Police also spent 2 hours at her home with her husband. She told Mail Online, "It was just devastating. We just wanted to help. If I was charged, I would have had to declare that, and it would have been a permanent impediment to my career. They also spoke to my husband and told him that I could face life in prison if I was found guilty. I've been an NHS mental health specialist for 15 years and have often worked with people being questioned and charged by police. It was the worst thing that has ever happened to me." Ms. de Benham said her solicitor described the action by Sussex police as an outrageous overreach. The Ukrainian family had been living with Ms. de Benham for just 3 weeks when the accusation was leveled. The mother cannot be named as complainants of modern slavery or awarded anonymity. The saga began when Ms. de Benham and her husband, who also works in the NHS, were looking for an au pair to work in their 8-bedroom home. They stumbled upon the profile of a 36-year-old Ukrainian woman who claimed she was also an English teacher, and reached out to her to see if she would be a good fit. According to Ms. de Benham, they came to an agreement that would allow her and her 10-year-old daughter to stay with them on the basis that she would perform babysitting duties for 2 to 3 days a week, for which she would be paid £200. Ms. de Benham filled out the paperwork via the government's Homes for Ukraine scheme, which she said was accepted remarkably quickly. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.